What's going on, guys? Rain of Zeus bringing you my new Magicka Dragonknight PvP build for the Murkmire patch. This one's a little different, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but I'd like to start off by saying thank you guys for 450 subs. In the last couple weeks we've went up over 150 subs, and that is phenomenal. I'd like to say thank you guys. So, in appreciation of that, and you know, with the holidays coming up, I figured I'd release this, guys, a gift from me to you. My new Magicka Dragonknight PvP build for this patch, and I'd like to say happy holidays to you guys, whether it be Christmas, Hanukkah, whichever religion or beliefs that you guys believe in. Happy holidays. And I appreciate you guys coming back and watching this stuff. But we'll go ahead and hop into the build. You guys can speed up the gear if you guys want to. I'll probably cover this for a minute or two, but I'm running 5 Shackle and 5 Bright Throat and Valken. Now, I prefer Valken because mag decays really lack burst potential unless you're a straight damage build, and with all the healers this patch, it's really been a struggle trying to whittle people down and run out of resources because everybody's an Argonian heal bot these days. So I just prefer Valken for the burst potential, honestly. It's a big difference. I mean, you're always welcome to run Bloodspawn here, or Grothgar, you know, whatever suits your fancy, I guess. But I'm running 3 sturdy, 2 on the body, and 1 on the shield. But what's different about this is my jewelry traits. Now this set, the armor pieces aren't too expensive, but the jewelry was pretty expensive, and you cannot get gold jewelry in Overland. So the problem with that being is it's really expensive to make gold jewelry. So don't get discouraged if you guys can't afford to upgrade it to gold. It's not that big of a difference. I just prefer things to be min-maxed. And it was like 1.2 mil or something just to make this jewelry gold. So like, do not be upset if you can't afford it. It broke my heart just to get rid of all that money on build or whatever. But overall, this build is overperforming my other MagDK build video. But the reason being, I feel like, is because of the extra sustain and stuff you get from Bright Throat and the enchants that's changed. Now I'm running 3 infused glyphs on the jewelry, so like I'm running a recovery glyph and 2 damage glyphs. I think that makes a big difference. Now, like I said, you guys can speed up the traits and stuff if you need to, and change them around too. Like, everybody's traits are different. I just prefer the extra block mitigation and reduction of cost from the sturdy. So like, yeah, you can run more sturdy, less sturdy, more impin, you know, maybe an infused piece on the chest. It's just personal preference. Now let's go ahead and get into the buff stats. These will be the back bar stats, which 2k mag recovery is really good, especially in heavy, because the LE drain you get like an extra 600 recovery, and then the constitution passives or whatever. But that's the back bar stats, and this is the front bar stats. So overall, really tanky. A lot of recovery, a lot of damage between Valken and the spell damage that we have and the max that we have. I know you forfeit a lot of max from switching the traits from arcane to infused, but you still get overall about 200 extra spell damage compared to arcane. Now like I said, I'm a dark elf, so you get like that extra flame damage, and I'm running the Atro. However, I am really thinking about switching from the Atro max or spell damage, because this, like I said, 2k recovery in heavy is a lot. Plus with LE drain and stuff too, it's a lot of recovery. I do not struggle with mag at all. It's actually really strong. Now, for Bright Throat to be effective, you have to run a drink with it. So whether that be Witch Mothers or whatever else, but I prefer to use the what's it called? Spring Loaded Infusion, I think is what it's called. And it gives it's a tri-stat drink. You get a little bit less than tri-stat food. It's like a little bit under 1k difference, you know, than tri-stat. But to make Bright Throat work, you have to run this. So you either run this or Witch Mothers, and this build doesn't really need recovery. So like I said, I prefer just the max for the stam. Now let's go ahead and get into the champion points. Like I said, everybody has a different preference over champion points, so you're more than welcome to take some out of something and put into something else if you feel like it's going to work better for you. But this is what works best for me in my mindset, I guess. So some things have changed in my CP since the last build that I released, and it mainly rotates around the mage, and that is in this tree right here, and putting 75 into this tree. Now, I mean, you can always take them out or put them whatever, but the reason I put 75 in here, not only is it a lot of extra dot damage, and that's where the majority of your damage comes from, but the Explorer passive is so strong. Increases your damage to off-balance enemies by 10%. Fossilize anytime you whip or talons an enemy, you're automatically going to have them off balance. So, like, no matter anything, that lasts for 15 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 15 seconds. Excuse me. Now, so any damage that you do to them in that time period it's an extra 10%. So like an extra 10% on your dot, extra 10% on your whip, 10% on your meteor. It doesn't matter. That's a lot of extra damage. That's just like running the fire breath. It's pretty much having a skill, but it's passively, and there is no cooldown on setting somebody off balance with talons. So like that's constantly up. You're constantly getting an extra 10% damage just from this passive. Now, like I said, you guys can speed this up or slow it down if you need to. Just pause the video and you should be able to keep up. But this is my CP. I do like to have 120 in this tree just for the block, because like you already get that shield from the Sigic ability anyway in the back bar, which I'll go over here in just a minute. But you get that shield from this too, and like it's not a big shield, but it can keep you from dying sometimes, honestly, because with all the resistances you're really tanky. So this is the middle tree, and then the last tree, like I just prefer to have the heavy armor focus than like putting these somewhere else. Like it's not that many points, but you get like an extra 2k physical and then 2k spell resist just for having them in these points. And if you put them anywhere else, you get diminishing returns. So like I said, I just prefer to have like a little bit extra resistance. Now what was I saying about skills? Yes, so this will be the bar setup. On the back bar, I normally do not have molten armaments here. I just use it here to buff up. So put entropy here, so you'll have a little bit more max health too. And plus this extra dot to proc Balkan. But this will be the bar setup. Like I said, I prefer Ellie Drain here, like versus using a different ability that you could cast, mainly for the spell pin and the recovery. So like anytime that you're on them or whatever, you're having an extra 600 recovery, and that's a lot of extra sustain. Plus, where we're in heavy, we don't have a lot of spell pin or spell crit, so having this extra spell pin makes a big difference. Now, what I was talking about before, the damage shield, Temper Guard, that damage mitigation that you get from that 8% it's a big difference on your back bar. Because like you could have leap here and you get a damage shield, but that goes away. And then the same goes with standard or whatever else you want to run here. But Temporal Guard, like anytime you're in this back bar to go defensive or to rebuff, you're getting that 8% damage mitigation, and you can block, which you should be blocking with an Ice Staff anyway because of the passives. For the block cost reduction for an Ice Staff. And you get that 8%. Plus you have, like I said, you have that damage shield. Like it's not a big shield, but it makes a difference. Now for the front bar, just the classic. It's the same setup as last time, but here recently where there's been so many heal bots and it's just so aggravating fighting a group of heal bots, I've actually have been playing with, and you lose a little bit of mag for it, but honestly when you're fighting heal bots or whatever, I definitely recommend running standard, because you can keep them in that standard, and that defile you get from that plus the synergy is a big difference when you're fighting AIDS healers, especially solo. Like Meteor, obviously you have that burst damage, but with standard, man, like with talons and fossilize and everything, you can really keep them in it, and it hurts. So I've been messing around with that. Now, like I said, if you don't have Mage Light, you're more than welcome to run, Flames of Oblivion here. It's going to give you the same amount of crit, but you're going to lose mag, and you get a little bit extra damage. But everybody's bar setup's a little bit different. This is, like I said, this is just what I prefer. But overall, I prefer Meteor, and I know it's a headache grinding them lore books, but it's absolutely worth it for the fossilized Meteor combo and everything else. But if you don't have that, it's okay. It's not going to be a deal breaker, so you can always run leap. It's not that big of a deal. Like buffed up and everything, I think I have like a 19 or 20k leap tooltip. Same goes with Meteor. So that, like I said, that pretty much covers the build video, guys. And again, I'd like to say happy holidays to you guys. And I appreciate you stopping by and watching this build. and I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me here recently. I've got a lot of feedback on my previous videos, and I love it. So make sure you guys let me know your thoughts. You know, I mean, whether it be improvement, bad thoughts, whatever, I don't care, guys. Like, you guys are free to, you know, comment any questions down in the comment section. I'll help you guys any way I can, and you guys know that. It might take a little bit of time for me to get back to you, but I will always message you back when I know, like, because a lot of times notifications don't show up. But anyway, guys, this wraps up the bit. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I can't appreciate you guys enough. So if you let me know your thoughts about the build and stuff in the comment section down below, and let me know how your guys' Christmas goes if you're watching this after Christmas. Just let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. I always like people have, you know, joyful times around the holidays. So until next time, guys, this is Zeus. Peace.